Fans of Outlander are always left hooked on the drama, romance, and adventure that follows protagonists Jamie and Claire. As it stands, the television series currently produces one season based on one of the Outlander books. This leaves fans of the book wondering what the difference will be between the two. Are there major flaws in the books, or shows that aren't being spoken about? Keep watching as we explore the differences that many fans can't get over. How was Frank Randall portrayed in the book versus the television show? Heir of villain Black Jack Randall, Frank Randall seems to have an entirely different character in the book series than on the television show. For starters, the novel actually doesn't mention him ever again once Claire travels back in time to 1743. In addition, the book portrays Frank in a new light compared to the television series. In the novel, Frank is seen as a pretty negative character. He actually has a series of affairs during his marriage to Claire. In the television series, audiences are presented with a new take on Frank's character. For one, he's mentioned a lot more as Claire is at a crossroads on whether to choose Jamie or Frank. Secondly, he is a more decent and respectable man. He continues searching for Claire during the 1940s and doesn't give up on her. Although decades later on the show we do see Frank having an affair, it's only with one woman, his mistress Sandy. Frank is shown to love Sandy and actually has plans to marry her. So why was Frank portrayed differently on the show compared to the novel? Well, Outlander's producer Meryl Davis stated, "I know that some fans don't like that we made Frank more likable, but I think we just all felt like it made Claire's decision to go back to Jamie so much more powerful." So what's your take on Frank? Do you prefer him to be more selfish, as in the novel, or more admirable, as in the TV show? Which character was rarely written about in the Outlander books, but had a major role in the show? If you said Murtagh, you're correct. Many fans of the book have mixed feelings about this character. In the book, Murtagh dies at the Battle of Craigh Na Dun. In season 3 of the television show, Murtagh is shown to be alive before he's sent off to the American colonies. Onto the beginning of the show's 5th season, Murtagh is still very much alive. That means that much of the show's drama and even romances, including an endless love with Auntie Jocasta, wouldn't have existed if the show's producers had followed the novel. According to the show's producer Meryl Davis, having Murtagh survive was an organic move. She said, "As soon as we cast Duncan and saw how great that bond on screen was with not only Jamie but also Claire, that became very special. I think we always knew in the back of our minds that we would probably keep Murtagh alive. Just seemed like such a waste of the character to kill him off." So what do you think? Are you pleased to have our honorable godfather to Jamie sticking around on the show? Or do you prefer that the series stay true to the book, where Murtagh is long gone? No matter which you prefer, goes without saying that Murtagh is definitely a likable character whose presence is still respected by many. Do appearances really matter? Whose looks have been altered in the show versus in the novel series? In the novel, Jamie is described as having dark blue eyes, bright red hair, and is very muscular. Although in the television series, Jamie has red hair, many of the book's fans felt his hair wasn't red enough. In addition, book lovers felt that his frame wasn't burly enough and that he could have been more muscular. We know that his daughter, Brianna, has dyed her natural brown hair a deep red to match her character that she portrays. As such, fans felt the same could have been done for Jamie's red locks. But besides Jamie's character, many fans were disappointed with Claire's eye color. In the novel, Claire is described as having dark brown eyes. However, in the show's audiences can see that her eyes are blue. In fact, they're very, very blue. This threw a lot of the book's readers off when they watched the show, as they wondered why they couldn't have put brown-colored lenses on the actress to be more accurate to the novel. Despite these minor differences in appearance, a lot of fans have grown to love Balfe and Huan for their portrayals of Claire and Jamie. Does point of view really make a difference? In the Outlander books, the story is told entirely from Claire's point of view. Each chapter only lets us into the mind of Claire, so the story is certainly more one-sided and personal. However, in the show's second half of the first season, we see Jamie take the lead as it opens with his narration and offers his point of view. This in turn allows viewers to see his torture more in depth, as viewers witness that nearly impossible to watch sequence with Black Jack Randall, as told entirely from Jamie's perspective. Show's producer Davis has spoken about this change of viewpoint, stating, "We felt a duty to Jamie. We felt that it was just so important to be there with him and experience his sexual assault through his eyes, because it was so brutal." And certainly people thought, well, why did you have a show so much? But rape isn't pretty, and unfortunately there is so much rape in Diana's books. You have to deal with each situation differently. We're not always going to show that experience the same way. But in that one, we felt it was so important to see it from his point of view. Many fans of the book have actually expressed their appreciation for giving Jamie his own voice, especially during that trying time for him. They felt it was refreshing to be able to understand his perspective during an assault that was so gruesome. Which villain was brought back onto the show that many fans of the book didn't want to see? In the Outlander book series, character Langhair McKenzie does not make an appearance in Dragonfly and Amber, but in the show we see a lot more of Langhair than fans are keen on. In fact, Langhair returns to season 2 of the show for a showdown with Claire in episode 208, The Fox's Lair. This also hints at her return once more in season 3. Many fans view bringing Langhair back on the show as a flaw since her character is arguably very gritty as she continuously attempts to get between Jamie and Claire. However, show's producers Davis knew about everyone's feelings toward this attempted adulteress, which is why she decided to bring her back. In an interview with Glamour magazine, Davis said, "Langhair is another person that everyone loves to hate, like Frank. But at the same token, we realized that she was such a great foil and villainess that it seemed a shame to leave her behind and not see her again. We wanted to know what would happen if she and Claire met again after everything that Langhair had done to her. We felt like that was a missed opportunity that we never got to see. So that's one of those times where we were like, that'd be so fun, let's just do it." Do you think bringing Langhair back onto the show was a flaw? Or do you think it was fun to watch her villain tree continue on screen? Fans seem to be divided on her, but it goes without saying as she brings a lot of drama to the screen. Does wardrobe play an important factor for fans of the book? When Claire decides to go back to Jamie in the year 1766, she of course needs to match that era's style before her return. In the novel, Claire actually purchases a more elaborate wardrobe. In fact, she buys an 18th century style designer dress. The television show completely disregards this notion, as we instead see Claire take matters into her own hands, quite literally. This entire sequence shows Claire crafting a utilitarian dress made out of raincoats. More practical rather than stylish, to say the least. The batsuit was costume designer Terry Dressbotch's idea. Show producer Davis said. She continues by expressing that her fear was Claire was too smart to actually go out and buy a, I hesitate to say, cheesy outfit. Claire's the kind of person who would be thinking ahead about what she would need to go back. As a doctor, she would have something much more functional. Many of the book readers were actually pleased with this decision because it factors in Claire's intelligence and functionality. On the other hand, some readers were displeased with this decision because it diminishes what book author Diana Gabaldon may have been trying to establish, which was a grand, elaborate, and stylish return. Regardless of the dress, fans of both the show and book were wholeheartedly happy to see Claire return to her beloved Jamie, despite what she was wearing. So what do you think about the Outlander books and TV show differences? Do you think that the show has flaws when it comes to portraying the novels? Did we miss any other examples that are different in the books as opposed to the television series? Let us know all of your thoughts in the comments section.